So in today's video, I want to talk about animation consultancy. This is a bit of a mystery for a lot of people, and I was talking with a mate the other day, and he was asking me about, tell me more about animation consultancy, because he was, just like myself, an experienced animator, and he was approached a few times about this, but he didn't know exactly what it entailed. So I've been doing animation consultancy for nearly 2 years, a little bit over 2 years now, and I love it. I think it's amazing, and I want to take the time in this video to share with you guys exactly what that is about, my experience, and if it's a good fit for you as an animator. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, welcome to another video. My name is Harvey Newman, and I like to share my passion for animation here in this channel with all of you. I've been working in the games industry for 20 plus years, and now that I've experienced so many things, so many games, so much success, I wanted to kind of like create a channel to share what is good, what is bad, and some of the ways that people can make money and have an easier life in this really complicated career, but also equally as wonderful. I normally don't ask for subscriptions or likes or comments, but in all honesty, I've noticed through my charts and my, the numbers that most of you are not subscribed to the channel. So it'd be great if you actually enjoy this channel, enjoy this content, to give it a subscribe and also a like. So hopefully we can actually expand this channel and make it available to other people like yourself that need a bit of help and maybe some words of wisdom that will come from myself if all goes well. So let's get into this business of consultancy. Now, after working so long in games, after working so long for a company, there was a moment about 2 years and a half ago that I thought it was going to be incredibly scary for me to do the jump from working full-time for somebody and then going to working for myself full-time. And this entailed a bunch of different things, right? Because you are used to actually go and work for somebody else, get a paycheck, have things like, dental if you live in the US, have things like healthcare also if you live in the US. But here in the UK, at least you have your holidays paid, and it feels very much like you are safe. You are actually kind of like protected by the company. If anything happens to you, the company is going to be there for you to look after you. Now, going from this mindset of just working for somebody else to then going into working for yourself is a big change. And this is the beginning of the consultancy journey, right? Because it's not for everybody, first and foremost. And second, it requires, for you to be quite gutsy for you to do it. Because if you think about it, and I actually was thinking about this with my wife like years past, that society nowadays, especially in big cities, is so made for you to actually work for somebody. If you think about it, think about your friends, your family, etc. Most people work for somebody, some company, and the idea of you working for yourself no longer happens. But if you actually go 100 years back, most people used to work for themselves. They used to work for themselves by working incredibly hard, getting a product and then selling it to somebody. And then some years were good, some years are bad, but they were working for themselves, and this was the norm. And my wife comes from this small village in France, and all her family kind of goes through the same thing. Her grandparents, her parents, they all work for themselves in different businesses, but they work for themselves. And this is because they're in the middle of nowhere. And the only way for you to earn money is for you to make something of yourself. And this thought, since I met my wife about 13 years ago, has been in my mind all this time, right? Why is society so geared towards you having to go and work for somebody else in some company somewhere and earn a salary, instead of you working for yourself and trying to make something of yourself, of a business? Because ultimately, not having somebody to report to means that there's no ceiling to the business, means that you can do whatever you want with the business. So I actually decided to actually take the plunge and go ahead and see if there was a need for animation consultancy in this industry. And turns out there is plenty of need for animation consultancy, but this is more for those people that actually have experience, plenty of experience in this industry. And the reason why is this: when you actually get out there and expose your work and the services that you have, and you announce yourself as a business, and now you can actually sell your services to other businesses, then you have to have basically a report, just like when you first apply for a job, about the things that you have done before and how good are they, and does this guy really knows what he is doing, what he's saying, in order to actually be valuable to any company out there that is willing to pay money for you to actually work for them. Now, for me, because I've been working in so many AAA companies as an animator, as a lead animator, as a director, and I've seen so many things happen over the years, and I've actually tested the waters, and I failed and I succeeded and all these other things. It means that I have lots of knowledge in my head, which was basically shown to me through this consultancy journey, that I can then share with others, right? So things such as building a good animation team, what does it take? Building a good animation pipeline, what does that look like? Building a really good quality animation that is AAA worthy, how does that look like? Mocap shoots, right? Going to a mocap, going to a motion capture volume and directing the talent to do the things that you want so you can extract the most out of it for you in your game, right? All those things are things that I've learned through my journey. And I just thought it was things that I had to do in any job that I was hired to do. However, individually, all these things have immense value to all the game studios out there. It doesn't matter if it's indie or AAA, you always can bring something of value to your clients. Now, you actually starting in this journey and actually talking about clients and services and all this stuff might seem odd at first, especially if you're not used to it. But just know, and this is the thing that I say to most people that are interested, just know that with experience comes lots of knowledge, and this knowledge that you have in your head that you acquired all these years has lots of value out there. And as we move towards this way of working with indie developers that is fluid, teams have a tendency to be much smaller than they were 10 years ago, and then there's AA developers out there popping everywhere, including my studio Proxima, and there's also indie developers that need your help, and there's more and more studios being created by smaller and smaller teams, which means that if you are like myself, if you actually worked in many AAA studios, if you actually have the medals to actually show your accolades, it means that people want what you have in your head in order to improve their game. Doesn't matter how long the process is, that is up to you to decide. Do you want a short-term contract? Do you want a long-term contract? But either way, the knowledge that you have in your head is incredibly worthy, and is actually valued at a really high price in comparison to working for somebody that you work full-time, because at that point you are actually having a cap on your salary and you can only increase it ever so slightly. But having contracts, meaning having clients that you can actually work with for certain periods of time, means that you can do more and have a much bigger impact on different games instead of working 3, 4, 5 years in a game for a long time, right? So this is the beauty of consultancy. And what I found through this journey of being a consultant is that first, you get to meet a lot of people that are absolutely amazing, lots of talent. So I'm working with a studio in Poland right now, and I'm finding out that, Polish game developers in general, they're incredibly hardworking, and also they work as a team incredibly well, and they work harder than most Western studios, which is amazing. It's really cool to see. It's inspiring to see. Amazing. Most recently, I just wrapped up a contract with an American studio, and that was really, really cool. Lots of great fun, lots of great people, and I think the synergy within the team was beautiful. And now recently I just signed up another contract that should take me towards more the Nordic countries. I cannot say much, but actually it's a contract that I'm looking forward to because the game is actually very, very appealing to me, right? So because you actually get to do this contract and it's for a certain amount of time, you get less of that fatigue that you get when you work on 3 or 5 years project, day in, day out, same teams all the time. Not saying that that is bad in any ways. I'm just saying that for myself, since I've been on it for so long, after a while, investing, like I'm 43 now, so investing 3 years, 5 years of my time into a project to work for a company, you really have to think hard, is this really it, right? Is this really worth my time? Am I gonna see a successful game at the end of this? Is this gonna be worth the time that I invest in the project, right? So because of all these things, I'm finding that consultancy is actually a great fit for me because I get to see different things, more often, and I get to work with different people, which I love. I'm a people's person, so I like to actually work with different people, interact with different people, get to know them, get to know the team, get to know how they work, and this expands my brain a bit more to find out exactly what different teams need at different times. Because I've worked with indie developers that want very little and is like slow pacing, and I worked with teams that are incredibly big and they're actually very fast paced, and you have to quickly incorporate and just expand things and direct them the right way. So those are two things that my brain needs to kind of adjust to, and the fact that I'm doing these adjustments, the fact that I'm working with different teams, the fact that I'm actually having to put my knowledge to the test all the time. Do I know enough to do this? Do I know enough to actually create the systems? Do I know enough to actually create the best mocap shoot possible, right? All of those things I just test for me to basically say, I'm a good game developer and I can do these things, and the more I do them in a successful way, the more I know that all the knowledge that I have and acquired throughout these 20 years is useful, and it's actually something that I feel like I haven't really wasted my time, which is really reassuring to me. I feel it makes me feel very much like making games really is valuable, and there is a lot of people that want your knowledge. Now, the last part I want to say to wrap up the video is you promoting yourself, because you cannot work on this consultancy business if people don't know that you are out there looking for work and you're out there doing good work. So this is why the YouTube channel comes incredibly clutch, thanks to you guys, thanks to your support, because that actually allows me to have visibility out there so people know Harvey is a guy that has been in animation for a while, he's an animation director, and he has done all these things that are really, really cool, so maybe Harvey's the guy for the job, and then this gives me gigs as a result. So in a way, this is how I've been able to work more on the YouTube channel, right? I'm no longer like attached to one project only, and I have to spend all of my 8 hours a day, 365 working on one thing all the time. This allows me to kind of like spend more time, more hours that I have free in between projects on the YouTube channel to make sure that I do this content for you all. So for my lifestyle, works absolutely amazing, but it does take a certain type of person to be able to kind of like spin so many plates and allow them to actually kind of spin really well at a high rate and super high quality at all times, right? To me, it's a challenge. To me, something that I enjoy, I embrace. I feel like I expand my brain, I expand my capabilities every time I do one of these. But for some people, perhaps being in a studio, being in one project 8 hours a day for a certain amount of time might be more suitable. So I know that it's not for everybody, but for everybody that is out there thinking perhaps there's another way, perhaps the knowledge that I've acquired all these years might be useful in other ways, I'm here to tell you that yes, absolutely, there is another way. Consulting is a way, and I think that you end up working way less, earning much more, but at the same time feeling more valuable for the things that you've learned through all these years. So I hope this is useful to some of you out there that actually find yourselves like myself after so many years thinking what is next and what's going to make me excited for in terms of moving forward. We all need something that gets you excited to work on and make sure that you're spending your time wisely. And then to me, consultancy was that thing that allowed me to be like, you know what, I can do this at a high level and enjoy it, which is great, right? Cool. That's all I had for you guys. If you enjoyed this video so far, please consider subscribing, give it a like, comment down below. And as always, thank you very much for everybody that have been supporting me in the membership of the YouTube channel, because you guys actually keep the bills alive every single month. So shout out to you guys. Here's a list of the people that have been supporting me. If you want to support, click the join button down below. I'm no longer at Patreon, I'm here on YouTube now. Click the button down below and join if you actually feel like supporting the channel. And until the next video, I will hope you guys stay well, stay safe. Peace.